What's your thoughts on Cleveland? Not just not playing their three stars, but not even bringing them to Memphis. The one time they traveled to Memphis this year.
I don't have a huge problem with it. I'm generally in that camp that says, you got to make decisions for the greater good. I had a real problem when David Stern just kind of fined Greg Popovich a few years ago out of nowhere. I never really understood his logic, and I really understood it from the team side a lot better. For Cleveland, they're making a lot of deep playoff runs here, and they plan to make a lot more. I mean, when you look at their contract scenarios, everybody's locked in, right? That's LeBron, Love, Kyrie, just right down the list. I mean, these guys are all under contract for years. So it's not just about them wanting to compete for a title this year. I mean, they're planning ahead 3-4 years, and I think kind of the best minds seem to agree. Trying to gun for all 82 and trying to play 39, 40 minutes a game. That's not the best way to do it. I mean, you've got to manage it to a certain degree. Obviously, I feel bad for the fans who don't get a chance to see him. Everybody's talking about the kid who went hours out of his way to try to see LeBron for the first time. But there is a balance, and I think the greater good really is that LeBron can stay as healthy for as many years as possible. He can play on the biggest stage for as many years as possible. To me, that means getting through those Game 7 finals moments in good health and good physical fitness. So,
Ben, I agree with you, but they played him 36 minutes the night before, and they had a couple nights off before that back-to-back. They got a couple nights off now. The dirty little secret is, you could play LeBron 25 and still win, but LeBron wants to get his numbers. Right? He wants to get his numbers. Otherwise, he'd go down to Memphis and play 25 minutes, play 20 minutes, and they'd still be fine. They'd still be competitive. Play him in the fourth quarter. But he doesn't want to do that, not because of rest, but because he wants to get his numbers. So instead, and then they don't take all three. You can't stagger this thing. I think it's such a bad look business-wise. It's such an FU to the fans. I've always asked myself, why would fans pay to go see a game? And then you factor in, here's the biggest name in the sport, one of the biggest names in all of sports. And all right, he just had a couple nights off and he played one game, played 36 minutes. He's not going to make it to Memphis the one time he goes there. I think that's a terrible business decision for him and for the league. I just think it's bad for the league.
Yeah, I mean, they usually make these rest decisions usually in advance, right? I mean, that's at least how the Spurs have done it in terms of managing their schedule. So it's not like they're reacting maybe to one night performance or the other. I mean, they kind of usually chart it out. And it did kind of seem like the two teams traded, right? Memphis was like, we'll rest Mark. If you rest LeBron, I mean, it seemed like that was up in the air on that back-to-back. But I don't know. To me, it's never been a real issue. I do feel bad for the individual fans, of course. But I think part of the reason why we've had such an exciting start to the season is because if you look at the top 7 or 8 guys, many of whom who have had injury issues in the past, last couple of seasons, everybody's healthy. Everybody's playing at a top level. Everybody's gunning for those stats like you're talking about, right? I mean, we have an unbelievable MVP race, whether it's Westbrook, LeBron, Harden. All these guys are putting up ridiculous numbers. And so from that standpoint, whatever it takes to keep them healthy, whether that's resting now, whether that's changing the schedule a couple of years from now, like in the new collective bargaining agreement, starting earlier, reducing the back-to-backs, reducing the 3 games in 4 nights. I mean, I think all those things are really good because, the worst-case scenario is not you miss him one night and, a few people go home unhappy. The worst-case scenario is somebody misses 3-4 months or they miss a playoff run. And now everybody's like, well, the TV ratings are down across the board. The league's not as profitable. So I do think there's worse situations than what we saw last night.
No, I agree. And I actually agree with the idea of resting guys, but I think they need to be smarter. And I think last night, because it's the only trip to Memphis, I think that's just a bad look, man. That's those tickets to see LeBron the one time he comes to town is gold. This isn't like Billy Joel, who plays once a month in Madison Square Garden. This is the one time he comes up and he plays, in some podunk town at a small little bar, and then all of a sudden, there's a cover band in his place, right? It just doesn't feel like a good business strategy.
No, I hear you, and I used to be up in Portland, and I swear Popovich rested, Duncan probably rested him 5 times through the Blazers over the last 5 or 6 years of his career, and every single time he had to kind of issue the same kind of terse apology and hope that people would stop grilling him about it. I think those guys feel bad. I bet if you got LeBron on Truth Serum, he would say, look, I feel terrible about this. I don't want to let these people in Memphis down. He probably has that Michael Jordan approach of, every time I go on the court, there's probably someone who's never seen me play before. Maybe I can, connect with a new fan. But I think also, when you're in his position, walking the kind of minutes that he does, something has to give, and unfortunately, it's those fans.